Now, let's be honest here. I knew it was gonna be bad. You did too. I just wasn't expecting permanent brain damage from this piece of shit. Now, this is the part of the video where I would introduce the movie by, talking about its production, some trivia, just something about the goddamn movie. But in this case, I can't, cause I don't know anything. I know it's on VHS, I know somebody paid $10 for this piece of shit, and I know I bought it for $40. Because it's rare. And it's supposedly directed by Jean-Michel. No last name. Understandable, I wouldn't want my name on this piece of shit either. And it's produced by Evelyn. It was also produced by the company Mondo Québec, which I'm pretty sure is defunct now, and it's basically a shockumentary about the dark, seedy, sexy underworld of Quebec. The problem is that there is nothing seedy, underground, or even sexy about this pile of donkey shit. And I'm not kidding, this is such a lazy piece of celluloid trash that they can't even write the title correctly in the movie itself. It starts off with a title card, which is pretty common for movies, and in the title card you can see an extra E that's not on this box cover. Why is that? Now, I won't go into a big spiel about French grammar, but let's just say that this box is correct and the title screen isn't. And that was my cat. I'm not doing a second take, this was perfect. The narrator then has the balls, or the clitoris, to tell us that they did 2 years of research, but they can't even write the title correctly. Then we get the shocking truth about the underworld of Quebec, which is mainly comprised of people being naked and dancing. Also, a lot of mullets, because let's be honest, the 90s in Quebec were just like the 80s everywhere else. Then we get shots of people driving on a bridge, and get used to these types of shots because the film is mostly comprised of them. And then we get our first shocking adventure in the seedy underbelly of Quebec, and that is a totally legit satanic black mass. And the narrator tries to terrify us by saying it could be happening at your neighbor's house. Although this could be happening at your neighbor's house if your neighbor was the director of this piece of shit. Their definition of a satanic cult are people in black hoods doing very light and shitty BDSM. Which, if that's a satanic cult, sign me up. I'm not kidding, they attached a woman to a cross and she could just move a little bit and be free of her restraint. It's laughably horrible. And just like everything else in this movie, it goes on for way too long, with just shitty Casio piano music in the background because that's all they could afford. We then get the second shocking thing, that is naked women dancing. And the narrator tells us that these are underground porno films that they sell internationally, and that's the casting, which is mostly comprised of strippers and prostitutes. And apparently it's all run by the mafia, and it's $1 million industry. Now, I've seen French Canadian porn, and it's not a multi-million-dollar industry, it's barely a $5 industry. I've seen way too many toothless women and men in French Canadian porn. You can't convince me that they get paid more than like a pack of Pabst Blue Ribbon. Anyways, surprisingly, the scene goes on way too long and it's boring as shit. And then we get another recurring theme throughout the film, and that's psychic readings. I'm not kidding, there are 4 psychic reading scenes in this 80-minute movie, and all of them are way too long. And they all lead to nothing. And it's just, holy shit, man. Why does this exist? Who can I blame? Evelyn? That's not even a real person. Then the movie goes on and it's just tits and ass, but at least I have to give it something. It's very diverse in its cast. I mean, we have titties of every color. And then we get a big shocking moment, so shocking that it was advertised in the back of the VHS box, and that is a Filipino healer curing cancer. Clearly he's not Filipino, at best he's Turkish, and at worst he's the guy that works at your local deli. Why am I saying that? Because the scene is just him pushing animal guts on this very uninterested man. And then end scene, that was cancer healing. If ever I get cancer, I'll go see the Turkish deli meat guy. Now we get, you know, more psychics and then more sex, as per usual. But I have to mention this male stripper scene. It's so awkward. It's so goddamn awkward. First of all, we have two older gentlemen with mullets and very, very disturbing mustaches dancing on what are the least interested women I've ever seen in my life. And behind them are touristic poster for the east coast of Quebec. Then we have some drug users who you could have guessed they both have mullets. This should have been called Mullets Exposé, not Quebec Exposé, just mullets. And then we finally get to something else advertised on the back of the box, and that is the man and the woman that sleeps with exotic animals. And that's literally as it sounds. They sleep around exotic animals. Scorpions, he has a tarantula in his mouth, which is the only gross thing in this goddamn movie, and a snake, a very long snake. And I'm not talking about his penis, because all the penises in this movie are tiny, tiny French Canadian dicks. I know what those are. I have one. And again, the narrator in this movie, like, clearly they had a very low budget because she only speaks for like 10 minutes in the entire runtime, and she sounds as charismatic as, I don't know, a dead horse. It's, as we say in my neck of the woods, la crise de marde. We then get another psychic. And then we go back to the satanic cult. And again, it's just very vanilla BDSM and terrible music. And the film ends with body painting. It's so anticlimactic. You kind of hope in a shockumentary that it gets, you know, more shocking. But it ends with body painting. This was a waste of 80 minutes.
Mais par contre, tu as quand même une ligne d'argent qui est assez positive. Et cette personne-là va t'aider beaucoup. Ce sera une personne de nationalité étrangère.
What are my thoughts on Québec Exposé? Well, other than it being probably the rarest shockumentary to be released, it's god-awful. It's very, very bad. I wouldn't recommend it to my worst enemy. But what's funny is because in Quebec and Canada in general, we didn't really make movies like this. The ironic part is that this is part of French-Canadian heritage, because it's the only one in its type. I'm sure all of the hard-working filmmakers from Canada are really proud of that. So do I regret spending $40 of my hard-earned money on this? No, because first things first, this is probably the rarest item in my collection, and second of all, I can share it with everybody. I can share this piece of cinematic history with you guys. How did I do that? Well, I uploaded this VHS rip on archive.org. If I can do my part of this never being lost to time or format, I'm proud of that. So yeah, it's on archive.org. I'm not gonna post a link because I've had problems with YouTube and doing that, but it's on archive.org and just search Québec Exposé VHS rip, or just hit me up in my DMs on Instagram and I'll gladly send you a link. Anyways, thanks for watching and see you guys next time.